Welcome to another powerful episode of Purpose Conversations. I'm your host, Dr. Mabel Baloy, and tonight we continue with our Empowered Women series where we highlight the incredible journeys of women who have turned their passion into thriving purpose. In this episode, I am not alone. I'm thrilled to be joined by an exceptional guest who is making waves in the world of public speaking. I tell you, if you're looking for someone to help you with the strategies to speak, this is the right person to speak to. She's none other but the founder of Unforgettable Speakers, an organization dedicated to helping people to find their voice and speak with confidence. She's also the mastermind behind a highly successful 7-day challenge on public speaking. If you haven't been to that challenge, tonight I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to go and be part of that challenge. If you're looking at wanting to be a very good public speaker, this is the woman that I'm going to be talking to tonight. And that challenge is transforming lives. I personally have seen a lot of testimonials around this challenge. Just the challenge before they take the next step with her, just the challenge has already changed people's life. Help me tonight to welcome the amazing, the beautiful, wonderful lady, Palesa Dibakwane, on the show. Palesa, thank you so much
Wow.
for joining us and welcome to Purpose Conversations.
Thank you. It's actually thank you, Dr. Mabel, for having me join your guests, your people that listen into your podcast. And I'm the one that's privileged to be here tonight. What an intro. I sometimes sit back and I'm like, "Ooh, is this you?" And I'm just so grateful to be able to do what I do.
Yeah, and you're touching us, you're touching lives. I tried to say something about you, but I know that you are the best person to tell us a little bit about who Palisa is.
Yes.
So
So
please tell us
someone
who
once said
Palisa
to me,
is.
Someone once said to me, the best part about introducing yourself is that at least you have control of what will be said. And then the only disadvantage is if you forget something, you're going to shout at yourself and say, "Oh, I should have said this."
Right.
but but all in all, my story is long. There's a long story and then there's a short story. But what I currently do
Mm,
is I'm a public speaking coach. I'm a full-time HR and talent professional, so I get to work in corporate as well, where deal with individuals on a daily basis, interviewing them for opportunities abroad. And then when it comes to the public speaking realm of things, what I do is I coach people from across the world. So mainly South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, Zambia, SADC region, a little bit of UK and US.
mm,
And that would be for them to be able to go and speak in front of people, whether it be in a boardroom or you can think of a stage, or even on a platform like this. I train quite a few people to come do interviews on radios and podcasts. So, anywhere where speaking is involved, that's where I involve myself in people's lives to help them to be able to elevate in that conversation, to showcase their true self, to be confident, and then the big word there, articulate, that everyone is looking for all the time. And then, like the
absolutely.
name of the business, unforgettable. So how are they going to be unforgettable in those conversations?
Wow, and that
And
is
that's
powerful,
me.
being unforgettable is, for me, I think what really attracted me was this unforgettable part. Because a lot of people
Yes,
will speak to people, but after that,
yes,
we forget them, we forget whatever that they were saying. So, unforgettable for me is the key word.
yes.
And
And
when
and
you're
that
speaking
that
about them, mm,
and just saying that word is the name came about because I had an audience of people from my TV presenting days that when they didn't see me on the screen anymore, were like, "Where are you? We miss you." And I thought, "Oh, wow, it seems like I'm unforgettable. And how am I
All
going to
right.
do this for others? How am I going
Yeah.
to make others unforgettable?" So that's where it came
Wow.
from. And I was like, the dots are
Wow.
connecting there with the Unforgettable Speakers training program.
Amazing. Amazing. You see, businesses like that, they really come from your core. They come from a
Yes.
place of purpose. And when you
Yes.
run that kind of a business, you already have, allow me to say, divine drive. It's not just drive
Yes.
that is normal, it's drive that comes from above, and you never rest.
100%. 100%. The history of Unforgettable Speakers, I would always say the history, it starts in church. It starts by me
Yes.
growing up, seeing my mom doing the speaking in church, and then thinking, oh, it doesn't
Mm,
seem hard. And then I started to speak at school. And then what
yeah,
happens is over the years, what you'll realize is then that God uses the things that you've been faithful with over time for you to
yes,
then be able to make a living and be purposeful through that.
right,
And yes, so
right.
you're 100% right when you're saying that it is divine, it's from God. And I always say that the
Mm,
best public speakers, you'll find them usually in church because they are anointed. And then if you want them now to just master the skill and hone it, then they come to the coach to do that for them.
right. Definitely, definitely, because that part, unforgettable, I'm telling you, that is the key word that is attracting your ideal
Yes,
clients. It can be a president, it can be, a person in the high places, a person who believes that they've been speaking for years, they know how to speak. But you just need somebody to just structure you and help you
yes,
to do it 100% right. You know?
100%. And I say this when you think about your schooling days, for instance, Dr. Mabel, there's always a teacher somewhere that sticks out. There's always that
Right.
one. And
Yes.
usually how those people have managed to make it into our hearts is because they spoke to us not just to teach, but they found a way to connect. And then beyond the connecting and taking it further, they found a way to be unforgettable. And that's
Right.
something that I've been asking myself, that okay, so they I've met so many people, but somehow there was
Mm.
something about me that they did not forget. And I thought, but was I always like this? Maybe not, because it's something that I believe you can learn over time.
Right.
That okay, there are certain things that make a speech unforgettable to people, and it's usually the feeling. People buy more into how we make them feel when we're speaking than
Mm.
our words.
Mm.
And it's
Yes.
also the idea of the fact that when people speak to you, you'll always remember how they made you feel, and not just what they said. So that's why
Absolutely.
you remember that teacher so well when you think about that one from your schooling days. It's because of how they made you feel about either the
Definitely.
subject or just yourself.
Mm. Right.
Yes.
I cannot forget
And
my biology teacher because of the way she made me feel.
100%, right? 100%. I have one that in my grade 2 and grade 3 years, that woman thought I was going to be the first black president of this country. She just believed in me so
Oh my
much. And
goodness.
that changes you as a child. It makes you more confident in yourself when you see someone looking at you in that way. It's almost like, oh, you mean me? Do you see potential that much? And you start wanting to live it out, that which they've said they see in you. And
Yes.
that's exactly it. She just was saw that there's so much potential here. She probably just needs the right support and backing to become a great speaker or whatever she said in that day. She said the president of the country.
Mm.
Yes.
And these are prophetic words that people are releasing,
Yes.
as you were talking right now, saying you are talking to people from different countries. You
Yes.
mentioned Zambia, you mentioned the US and South Africa and all these other places. Basically, your brand is a global brand. And
Yes.
as you were explaining, Palesa, you'll come back and buy me coffee and shake my hand.
I,
Because
I
now you're
will. I'll
talking,
never
I was like,
forget you.
TEDx is
Never.
coming. As you were talking, I was like, TEDx is coming, TEDx is coming, TEDx is coming.
Oh, so
You
I've been
know?
on TEDx, funny enough, on TEDx US, where I was coaching two individuals, and that would
Yeah,
be
you
two
didn't
people from
mention it.
Dallas, Texas, for the Dallas, Texas
Mhm.
TEDx in 2022. And that
Oh, my
happened
goodness.
just like that by being consistent on the internet and sharing my tips. They were reaching out then to coaches to help people, and they said, "We identified you." And I thought, "No, I'm not from America." They're like, "No, no, no, no. We identified you. Would you be willing to help people even if
Yeah.
it's virtually?" And I was like, "Of course I would." So I coached two brilliant individuals for TEDx in Dallas, Texas. They both spoke there. The one is a medical doctor and the other a musician. But that's exactly where I saw that this is exactly, it's a global mandate. And
Mm.
God saw it when I was 7 years old. Yeah, yeah.
Because he knew us whilst we were still in our mother's womb. He
Yes,
knew what we were going to turn out to be, you know.
yes.
Yeah, I just felt like TEDx, TEDx. I didn't know you were there because you didn't mention it. I've not come
No, I
across it.
did.
I was reading all the stuff about you. I did not come across
The
TEDx.
TEDx part. No, it's a small sentence we throw in there, but it's
Yeah,
definitely something that I wish to hone and grow because as much as yes, I've done it in the US, I'd love to be more involved with TEDx South Africa and the different regions where it's
yeah,
Pretoria, I know there's Johannesburg and there's KZN.
mm,
So I will make it something more regular and not a once off thing that I did for people in another country. So, definitely looking
mhm,
to grow that TEDx bone. And
yeah,
I really felt that was one of the biggest validations from heaven for me, where God was saying, "No, I've anointed you for this. I've chosen you for this. If you still doubt
absolutely.
me, then look at this." Yeah.
Absolutely, Pals, because that's what I just saw when you were talking, about where you're getting people to coach and stuff like that.
Yes.
TEDx just came like this. So I would love to see more of you there. You know,
Yes.
you're my favorite. You're my fan. I'm your number
I
one
love
fan.
it. I
Maybe
love that you
number
said
two.
that.
Maybe number two because your hubby might be the number one fan.
No, 100%. So I tell people all the time in my videos, if you haven't heard, I introduce myself as I'm your favorite public speaking coach. And that for
Yeah,
me is a prophetic word that I'm speaking to life so that even
yeah,
if people say I can't use her, but she's still my favorite. You know the
yeah.
feeling of I really wish to buy that Porsche Cayenne one day. And yes, I'll settle right now for my small BMW, but there's that car, that's my favorite. So that's what I want to be in people's lives. I want to be their favorite public speaking coach because not just the not just for the sake of the fame, but also for the impact that I have in their lives and
Right.
how my words ring in their ears when they think about a speech in front of people. That's exactly what I'm hoping
Mm,
to achieve.
absolutely, and that is going to be achievable. And, studying this unforgettable speakers, what challenges did you face whilst
Sure.
building this wonderful brand that is my favorite brand?
Yeah, so a lot of challenges. One would think if a person is such a confident speaker that you're an all-round confident person and confident in every sphere, But in actual fact, I think that first challenge for me was the actual belief in the fact that people will buy and pay for this. And
Yes.
in the time when I started the business, I might not have vocally said it, but my actions showed that maybe I don't believe. Because I started off Unforgettable Speakers saying, let me coach 5 people for free. And then I'll get feedback from them to hear, was this impactful? Did you enjoy it? Did you learn something? And when they gave me the validation, then I believed, which just shows that I didn't go in there believing. I needed first people to say yes. So for me, the first challenge was just overcoming that bit of self-doubt. Because I
Yeah.
think for all of us, when we go into a space where we're doing something that we've never done before, we often find ourselves thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have the experience. Will people even buy this? Will they support it? So just that first mental challenge. And it's not something that you everyone would know. Some people would think that was my strategy. But in actual fact, I was operating under a
Mm.
spirit of fear. I was a bit fearful. And after those people validated me and I had testimonies, then I said to people, look, this is what I do. You can pay me for it if you want to. And that's how I started the business. But in the process of now starting the business, it was getting to a point where I had found myself now making money from it. And I was almost in disbelief that, oh, is this me? Again, right? That is now the imposter syndrome coming to play, where you're thinking, what if I'm not experienced enough? What if I'm not certified enough? What if there's so many things that can come up as doubts. But being a person of prayer, I believe that God just has this way of giving you direction, especially when you are walking in His will. And it's usually when it's not His will, you'll just see things going east and west, and you try this in your flesh, and it's like it's just not happening. But somehow I
Yeah.
found that, okay, this is becoming something that I'm able to do while I work. Because at some point I thought, oh no, I need to stop. I can't do this. I need to decide what I want to do. And somehow when I just started putting my house in order, so the chaos that comes with a side hustle, I needed to sort that out, where I was overbooking myself and booking 2 meetings in the same time. And I would be like, oh, there's no order here. People are going to feel this is an unprofessional service. So that's one of the challenges that I had to overcome. And overcoming it was now putting things in place for myself to know how I'm going to operate. And that level of operation meant I need to, when I speak to someone, put it in my diary immediately, and just getting a bit more organized. And then at a later stage, I got someone that helped me with most of the admin while I work. And then one of the other challenges is, this one I call the school fees I had to pay. I invested in someone hoping that they're going to help me sell my Confidence to Speak online course. So, what people see right now when they see the online course, that is my third launch, just by the way, in all honesty. The first time I launched it, I think in that year I sold 3, if I did. I can't even remember. It was just pre-orders that I sold to close people that have been waiting for it. And then I thought, okay, let me pull it off again, the market. And then the next time I invested in getting a coach slash marketing person to help me. And I invested quite a bit of money in there. And the returns were not much better than what I had, because we had a whole 30-day strategy, but it didn't happen as I thought it would, because I had seen so many people getting it right, talking about, oh, online courses are the place to be. It's a $700 billion industry. And I thought that means it's easy. It's almost like selling sweets. But it wasn't. And I sold, I think, after that person had helped me, about 7. And I'm not telling anyone this. Remember, this is the background failure. People are just seeing in, out,
What?
in, out. There's content and then there's no content anymore. And then I almost got
Mm.
to a point where I felt like I want to give up. But there's always been this voice, and I'm happy because I spend a lot of time with business coaches as like yourself, where I listen to their content where they say some things, it's not about the what you're offering, it's about the how. And
Yes.
once I got the person that knew how to take me to market, we're now sitting at 300 sold in 3 months.
Can you believe it?
Now imagine if we stopped there after the seven or after I had help,
Mm.
or if we just gave up and we thought, you know what? I'm done with this online course thing. It's not for me. Clearly, God has not put his grace on it. Because I did start believing that. I was like, oh no, maybe God doesn't want me to coach people on an online course. He wants me to physically do it every time, be there. But I was like, that's not true.
Mm.
It's so draining. You can't be, it's not possible. And
Yeah.
look, just needed the right how, the wisdom of another person, because it's not my wisdom. I just needed to get the right person to help me with the right experience. And it changed the game.
Mm.
That's the word. It changed the game. Yeah. So challenges,
Definitely.
sure. And I don't expect that they're going to stop, because that's part of
Mm.
life. I always say that we are born to solve problems. And every
Right.
minute we're sitting and we're thinking, what problem can we solve next?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. This is breathtaking. The way you have been through these challenges. A lot of people think that you start a business today and tomorrow it's running like this. When we see Palesa, when I go on Facebook every time, make no mistake, I'm gonna come across Palesa
You're going to bump
Dibakwane.
into my ad.
Well, you are so visible. You are now this force in the public speaking space that cannot be ignored. It cannot be ignored. When you
No,
see Palisa Dibakwane, you pay attention. You
yeah,
pay attention. But I want to go back a little bit to what you said earlier on, that you were you were driven by fear and you
yeah,
offered 5 pro bonos because you were driven by fear. Another person may look at it as a strategy because a lot of coaches, that's what they do. They test their product,
yes,
they test their
yes.
services before they could sell to the entire community. So even if it was fear that about, it was also still a good strategy because
100%.
number one, you are the embodiment of what you are um, talking about. You are the embodiment of public speaking. You are a good public speaker yourself. And if you say, I want people to come so I can show them how to speak with confidence, how to find their voice and speak with confidence, we can see it in you. We can hear it when you are speaking, you know. However, over and above the fact that you are the embodiment, social proof really puts a stamp there. Because sometimes
Very
it's like, Anusa is
true.
just
Very
blowing her own horn here,
so
But
true.
when you get Mabel and Sophie talking about
Yes,
how they transformed as they were working with you, that gives the program, your services, a boost. So okay, even if it was from a point of fear, but it was also, on the flip side, it was also a strategic thing to do.
100%. In that moment, it looked, like I say, to people like a strategy. In my mind, it felt
Yeah,
like, "Ooh, I'm
yeah,
just too scared." But it definitely is, and it definitely is a good strategy if people are thinking of doing a market analysis to see if their product is something worth investing
yeah.
in. You will see that if people aren't even willing to pitch when it's free, I'm not sure if we can really add a price tag to it yet. So it's
Mhm.
definitely a good strategy to start off with.
Also, and also after you've worked with these 5 people and you see the results, now that I'm
Mm,
not necessarily selling a program. here. I'm
Yes.
selling the results. I'm selling
100%.
transformation. It's
Yes.
not about module one, module two, module three. It's about what module one, two, three can do
Yes.
to this person. What will they
100%.
become after they've gone through all those
Yes.
modules? You know,
Yes,
so
100%. 100%. You're correct. The speaking training courses that I do, I always tell people it's not necessarily about the information, it's about how it's going to change your life. I've never come
okay,
across a person that's done the full program and walked out feeling like, oh, they could have spent their time better elsewhere. And
right,
also just seeing how people not only become confident in their speaking, but they just become more confident people in general, regardless of the
right,
area and the room they find themselves, because some of those principles are transferable into other spaces as well.
yeah,
Yes.
awesome. Wow. So I'm tempted to ask, how are
No, ask.
you managing the 300, you know, people that
Yeah,
came
so
through to
so at
your
the moment,
program?
that's an online course that they are buying, which is more passive for me. They purchase it, they
Oh,
do it in their own time. They join a WhatsApp
oh,
group, which is where it's a community that gets
yeah,
managed, but that is not the main course. The main big vision course is the 8-week program where people are sitting with
mm,
me, and that is a bit more of a limited number of people. We're sitting
yes,
at a sweet spot of only 15 in the program, and that is
mm,
so that I can give them that attention, I can monitor their
right,
growth. They can
yeah,
come back on a weekly basis having practiced and done homework, which is for
mm,
me, 300 people wouldn't be manageable, because in that course, people get to speak, they get to do presentations, and we weren't going to be able to manage having 300 people get a
yeah,
turn. But with the
yeah,
15, it's very manageable. It's people getting to explore in a group setting, learn in a group setting, and it's continuous growth. So definitely more
right,
manageable than the 300. So yes, the 300
yeah,
are doing it in their own time, asking questions when they have, and hopefully then making the decision to join the longer program, which is then the 8-week program, which is called the Mastery Inner Circle. So it's an inner circle, very
yeah,
small.
the
Circles are
inner
usually
circle,
quite small.
very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very close one. You know, tell us more about the challenge, the 7 day public speaking challenge.
Yes. So that is where you get introduced to what I help people do. And I say this
Mm,
because it's bite-size information, just enough for you to watch a video at night before you go and sleep, before work the next day, and it comes on a daily basis, so it helps you to manage it. And it's not, oh, here are 7 things to go and do all at once, but let's take
right.
it in a more guided, step by step, building up the information over the 7 days that you can practically use today. So
Yeah,
that's why it's a challenge. It's challenging people to go and use what they're learning today, tomorrow, in the office, and see if it works and if it already changes the way in which they communicate in front of people. And with
yeah,
this challenge, I know that what people experience is that they get to start seeing certain things about themselves and how they can improve, because that's important. When you're not self-aware, you don't even know you need something until you realize, oh,
mm,
when I look in the mirror, this doesn't look like that, and now I know
yeah.
what my starting point is and how I can start working on my public speaking.
Wow, that is truly, truly amazing. Changing lives is really fulfilling. I don't know how you feel about it, but you know, for me, making an impact in the life of someone, seeing someone moving
Yes.
from point A to B is really, really fulfilling for me.
Yes,
You know?
for me that is it's really fulfilling, but I also feel it's just such a privilege, because so
Mm,
many people wish to, but sometimes don't know how to. And once you found your how, you're blessed. You're really blessed if you
Right.
figured out
Right.
how. Because
Yeah.
people wish to, they want to, but they're asking themselves, what is it that I have to offer people? What is it that I have? And it's because some people
Mm,
just haven't had time to identify within themselves what they can offer the world. And it's
mm,
really, I think it's a stressful place to be in, because you have this burning sensation. It's almost like a volcano that wants to come out of a mountain,
yeah.
but it can't, and it's constantly thinking, there's something in me. I just don't know how. And then once the how
Mm,
clicks, it changes not just your life, and it starts changing everyone else's life as well, because that fire
mm,
just goes down and flows
yeah.
onto other people.
Very, very true. That is very true.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the key transformations that you have seen in your participants after completing the 7-day challenge? Because sometimes people think that when you are offering something for free,
Oh,
it's not something of value, and they don't know. They don't know that it is so valuable. I've run free master classes and webinars, and
yeah.
people come out of that. Another lady was telling me, after going through your webinar, downloading
Mm.
your guide, I now have got my business model.
Wow.
I've not sat down with the lady. I've not actually coached her. I was doing the webinar, and
Yes.
I gave them a freebie at the end of the webinar,
Yes.
and
Yes.
she went through that guide, and she was answering questions. I've got 5 sections in that guide, and she said to me, question number 4 changed everything. Changed
Wow.
everything. I now have a business model, and I want to work with you. You see, because
Wow.
now she has gained so much, and she sees the transformation. The webinar was only
Yes.
90 minutes, and then I gave
Yes.
them the freebie at the end, and that changed her. So a lot
Wow.
of times when people are invited to a free challenge or masterclass or webinar, whatever it is,
Mm.
or you're offering them a free guide or a free ebook,
Mm.
they like thinking, ah, it's free, it's not of value.
It's
That's why
true.
I'm
Very
asking you
true.
this question. What are the transformations that you have seen? Because I know there are.
Yes, so there are so many. And I say this because on a daily basis, I receive emails upon emails. At the end, sometimes during the first day, or just when they get the first day, they're like, wow, what you've just said has just changed the game. I spoke today and I tried it and it worked. So for me, what I've seen with the ones that I thought were quite huge and unexpected was a gentleman that had a radio interview, and knowing that he's not a speaker, but he needs to go and speak about the services that he offers, which are more practical type of things, like your, let's say, plumbing as an example. And knowing that a
Mm,
plumber is not a speaker, so for him, it was a very anxious moment. I'm going to be on radio. And he felt
mm,
like this challenge just came at the right time, because he didn't know how much he would need some of the things that are in the challenge. So as
yeah.
he went through the 7-day challenge, he found that when he was answering the questions, he was able to formulate it according to the short videos that I had created in the challenge to help him. And he thought, oh, wow, the way in which he
See?
spoke, he got compliments afterwards, and he was saying that, and I'm not even a speaker. And people were coming back to say, you spoke so well, you were so well prepared. And I thought, through 7 days on a challenge that was for free, and this is your outcome. So now imagine if someone like that does a whole 8-week program. So I've definitely seen that it being very impactful in that sense, where that one for me stood out just because of how he described the lack of speaking engagements and the fact that he's never really been on a platform like that before. And
Yeah.
then there's also a lady that she said after she just saw the first tip, she immediately signed up for the 8-week program, because she thought, how is it that this first day in the challenge is so impactful? that I'm already feeling like it's changing me as a person. Because the things in the 7 day challenge really teach you to start taking control of yourself first before you speak. It's almost just
Right.
switching on the light between your brain and your mouth. Once we switch on that light, already it changes you. And she's thought she's so excited to just feel more in control at work in terms of how she speaks. Because when you're nervous,
Mm.
usually you lose control. You're not sure if you're here or if you're there when you're speaking. So
Yeah.
for her, just gaining that control helped her to manage a bit of her nerves and anxiety.
Wow. So the 7 day the 7 day free challenge is actually already removing the fear of public speaking for your
Yes.
clients.
For some of them, I can say it definitely helps for some of them, especially those that are
Yeah.
already speaking. So some people don't have a choice; they are forced to. They have to give the
Mm.
report on a Monday. They have to be the one that speaks at the exco meeting and gives the result. So it definitely helps people that know they're already in that hot seat. It helps them to
Mm.
calm down in that environment already knowing a bit more. Because for all of us, when we have knowledge, we have power. But
Right.
real power is experienced when we implement the knowledge. So being in a position where
Exactly.
you have knowledge is great, but implementing the knowledge, that's when you reap the fruits of it. So it immediately helps them to reap the fruits of, oh, the 7 day challenge thing worked for me yesterday. Wow. And and
Yeah.
and that's what the 7 day challenge does. It helps people that are already in that position to start making better decisions when they're speaking, to be able to first think before they speak. I always say we get told,
Yeah.
think before you ink in an exam, but how about think before you speak? That could also be helpful.
Love
Yeah.
it. Right. You're taking me back to our Bible study at church. Every time I
Yes.
finish the Bible study, I tell people they'll be going like, oh, this was great. Oh, we are growing. Oh, the knowledge here. We understand the book of Nehemiah. We never understood it before like this. And I'm like, guys, knowledge is power. But what is more powerful is when you take
Yes.
it and apply it. Just knowing and
100%.
hearing and being blessed is not enough. What is enough
Yes.
is for you to apply it, and that's when you will see the difference. So I
Yes.
agree with you 100%, Wow. So what is your approach in coaching someone who is completely terrified about the stage?
Yes. So the stage, I think for most people, when you see research, they say 70% of people would rather be dead than to be found speaking in public. That statistic is
Oh
scary in
my word.
itself. But it should give
70%.
some, yeah, no, 70% of people said no, I any rather kill
Yes.
me than to put me in front of people.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it makes sense. I can truly believe that it's possible because I've seen people's reaction in the moments where they are put to just speak and they didn't expect it coming. For some people, it's even
Mm,
caused trauma, where it's caused a thing called speaking anxiety. But the first point where I start with people like that is making them aware of the fact that it's okay. That's it's you're not abnormal. You're not the first
yeah,
person. And already once a
exactly.
person can find comfort, when you can see, oh wow, I'm not the first person to have gone through this, already you start thinking, okay, maybe there is hope for me and it's not the end of the world. And
Mm,
once they realize that what I'm going through is normal, then I take them through the step of, but now we need to become aware of when this thing happens. So for
yeah.
some people, told me that when they're going to speak, they're anxious the whole night and they don't sleep. They even vomit. Some people, it's all sorts of things that I've heard. Others feel like they're just gonna call in sick at work on that morning because they are now expected to speak. So
Oh.
there's so many different ways people have described this fear of speaking, that for me it starts with, okay, let's first figure out for you where the fear begins.
Mm.
When are you
Yeah.
nervous? Some people it's just 2 minutes before they speak. Others it's
Mm.
once I heard my voice, then I started getting a bit anxious. But all this time I was fine.
Mm.
And
Mm.
once a person is aware, now we can do something about it. But if you're not aware, I can't help you, because where what are we solving? We need to first go and find the root cause. And then just also exactly that, going back to what is it that you think about when you think of speaking? They say
Mm.
in ancient history, when you look at even in the Bible, when people used to be called out to stand in front of people, it was never for a good thing, right? Where you're going to either get crucified, or you're the woman that's about to get stoned because you got caught in doing
Mm.
adultery, or you are the person that's going to get beheaded like John. So there's definitely a feeling of the fact that I'm called out of the people for the people to judge me.
Mm.
So that's where it starts, and automatically our mind wants to protect us from the danger because the people are now going to judge me. That's one of the things that people think.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then there's other things that people go through where they feel maybe they're not deserving or worthy of this opportunity yet. So some people think, oh, people that hold the microphone because they are successful. They've already made it. They are, and what
Mm.
does even made it mean? Think about yourself, Dr. Mabel. Or do you preach because you've made it?
No. I'm
No,
still
then
going
none
to
of
begin.
100%. And then I take them back to saying, but so you think that the 5-year-old that spoke at the concert, that person thinks they've made it? And then they're like, no. And then I'm like, so it's all about dealing with those internal battles that people are facing and demystifying them and taking away the mist and saying, no, no, let's put on clear lenses here. This is what is
Right.
actually happening. This is how you
Yeah.
should actually think about it. Because a lot of times it's our uninformed, incorrect beliefs that make us fear things that we don't know. But when we
Mm-hmm.
now get to see things from a different angle, all of a sudden it's almost like, I can't believe I was afraid. I have a whole degree and 5 years experience. What am I afraid of? There's a person standing here in
Yeah.
front of me, a 5-year old,
Mm.
no, not even primary school certificate, but this person feels like
Mm.
they know something. So it's just about helping people to see themselves correctly first, and then
Right.
we can do the rest. Yeah.
Mm. I think that first step is really powerful because once you are aware of yourself and
Yes.
the potential that is within you, your
Yes.
expertise, everything that you know, and how many years have you been
Yes.
talking to people, different types of people, then when you
Mm.
are aware, it becomes better, you become confident. It's something that
Yes.
should come to mind all the time, even when Palesa is not there. It's something that
Yes.
once Palesa showed you the tactics and the strategies, every time when you're going to speak, you must always remember that, you know.
Yes. 100%.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow, Pali, this journey is really, really amazing. I wish we could go on for the whole 2 hours. But tell us about the future of unforgettable speakers. What is the future
Yes.
ahead?
I love that question because it's something that is going to change the impact that Unforgettable Speakers has quite significantly. So, over the past 3 to 4 years, everything has been online, meaning Zoom, because of the fact that I train people in different countries and we all join on one
Yeah,
call. What I'm planning to do with collaborations with other coaches is do a bit of in person workshops. I feel the world has
yeah,
opened up a little bit more again. COVID was the reason why we all went online, but the impact that being in the room has on people is evident, and I've seen it. I've done a few corporate workshops recently and realized that it did not even feel for them like a speaking workshop. It really felt like they were being taught how to converse. So
Wow.
that's what I'm hoping to do, is do a bit more in-person workshops and to make it more than just speaking, because I believe it's leaders that speak. So
Right.
getting more leaders in the room that want to make an impact, and then helping them to be able to do it through communication and to be able to influence people. So definitely a bit more in-person workshops. That's what I'm looking to do going into the very near future. Very, very near.
That is a powerful thing to do. I mean, you're talking here about collaborating with others. A lot of
Yes.
entrepreneurs, they like to work in silos, and the thing is that we don't have the same skills, and
Mm,
our skills are different. And if I come into the life of Palesa comes into my life. Together, we create something powerful.
yes.
Because you can't provide for everybody. You can't provide a service for everybody, and you
Mm,
don't have everything. Nobody has got
yes.
everything.
No, no one is the master of everything. You're 100% correct. Yeah.
Exactly. And one of the things I told you the other time when we were first talking about this, that one of the things that attracted me to your program also is because my program produces speakers, not necessarily
Mm,
that I train them to speak, but
yes.
I think the biggest thing that I help them with is that self awareness,
Mm,
part, because once they begin to see who they are and what kind of potential, God has, invested in them, then they begin to realize that, oh, I'm a speaker. I always speak at school. But after that, I don't provide them with the public speaking, knowledge and all of that. So they just discover that they are speakers, and they just discover that they actually have been speaking all along. So there's
yes.
no time where I channel them to say, this is how you need to speak, because that is not my expertise. I don't do that. And that's what attracted me to unforgettable speakers, because I know that I can send some people to unforgettable speakers to get further training in their speaking
Yes.
journey. So I really,
And then
really like that.
what happens when it's other way around? I meet people that have a message to share, and then
Mm.
they realize that, wow, so many people are inviting me, and I say to them, but you're doing it for free. And I am not a business coach, so I can't help you to monetize and put yourself together
Yes,
in that way. But I
right.
have helped you to draft your keynote and become the speaker that you are. But I truly believe
Mhm.
that you could be getting more out of this, and then I should be sending them your way. See, the collaboration doesn't stop. It's a
The
cycle.
power of collaboration. And this is what we need to do for ourselves as
Yes.
women. Like now,
Yes. Yes.
I just want to talk to our female species. This is what
Yes.
we need to do for ourselves as women. We should stop competing, but we must start collaborating. We must start
100%.
identify another woman. Must start
Mm,
identifying another woman who's doing something that I'm not doing, but this thing can actually add value into what I'm doing. So when
yes.
I call Vanessa in, it's for her to come and add value, the value that I'm not adding to my people, and
Yes.
they need that kind of value, and it can be found somewhere else. And I know this person
Yes.
that can actually help them to move forward. So I really
Yeah.
like that approach of the future of unforgettable speakers.
Awesome. So
Yeah,
you're correct in saying that. For me, when I see it, it's all about, do you love your client enough to want to help them? Because
right.
it can't always just be about you. When you love
Mm,
your clients enough, you're going to see that, okay, they're at that point now where they need someone else to step in. And when you say referring a
Right.
woman, I
Right.
always say when you refer a woman, it's almost like referring yourself. When you know how hard you work and how much
Definitely.
effort and love you put in, you can trust that another woman would look at her clients like her babies as well. That's just how we build. We nurture things. We take
Definitely.
things from small little seeds and we make it a plant because that's how we are built. So you're almost sure of the fact that they should be in good hands because they're with the person that will try her level best to ensure
Yeah.
that they don't leave there with nothing. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Wow, what a conversation. But listen, so how can our listeners get involved with unforgettable speakers or join the next challenge?
Oh, right. Awesome. There are many ways. One of the first ways is you can actually go and look for our website. It's called unforgettableSpeakers.com. And on there, you'll see one of the
Mhm.
first tabs will say join the free challenge. So there's the 7 day challenge on there. And if you don't have
Mhm.
Facebook or Instagram, you probably haven't seen it. But if you do, you should have seen it. And what you do there
Yeah.
is you just sign up on the link when you see the advert coming past. But you can also look for
Mm.
my pages. So I am Palesa Dibakwane on Facebook as well as on Instagram and on
Mm.
TikTok. And in my link bios, you'll also find that there is a way to the 7 day challenge. Or on Instagram, you'll find there is a specific testimonial video that says when you comment, I will then send you the link to the challenge. Those are the ways you can get a hold of us, as well as I'm on WhatsApp. So you would find that on all my profiles, there's a number that goes straight through to the WhatsApp contact where you can chat with me a little bit further as well if you have any questions regarding our programs.
Wow, so there's no struggle. If a person really wants transformation, you have positioned yourself and you are everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Are you on YouTube?
I am not on YouTube yet, even though I am. And I say I am because all my challenge videos sit on YouTube. So I've grown
Um,
subscribers without the intention of growing them through the challenge. But I will be joining YouTube with a different strategy at some point in time. There's definitely something that I'm hoping to do in terms of the YouTube space, and that would be in 2025.
Oh, wow, wow. I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that strategy, that new thing that you'll be doing in 2025. And yeah, YouTube is good like that because you can
Mm,
actually even put your videos there for if you know for people to I also put my videos there for for training and stuff like that, even though I do
yes,
have an online app where people can access the training, the coaching, but I
yes,
also direct some of the videos on there, especially for the people that have not signed up. The free stuff
yes,
is
yes,
there
yes.
on, yeah, is there on YouTube. But yeah, I do think that anybody that's just gonna pass through Palesa and not sign up, they don't understand because
Oh, they're missing
really
out.
all of us are speakers, right? All of us are speakers. And
Yes.
this business that you have started, it has really identified a problem, a
Mm,
speaking problem. And
yes, true.
many people that are speaking, they should grab this opportunity and refine the skills. When we speak, we always say things that are not supposed to be in our speech. you
And
know,
sometimes it's anxiety, sometimes it's nerves, where you didn't plan to say it, but because you're there now, it's came out, and you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, this was not the
yeah,
plan." Yeah.
I was listening to a video. I was trying to listen, but and I was interested, in the topic that they were talking about. But I
Yes.
didn't stay long. I think I just stayed there 2 minutes or 3 minutes
Yes.
because the lady kept on saying many
Ooh.
times. And I'm like, oh my God, no, please.
So, in my 8 week mastery inner circle, in that program, I have mastered to bring that transformation for people because I know that the
Mm,
filler word is not on purpose. People aren't even aware that they do it, that are doing it. And others are
yeah,
very aware that they're doing it, but they don't know how to get rid of it. So there's definitely a lot of exercises that I teach people. And that's actually been one of the biggest transformations I've seen through the program, the actual 8 week mastery, is seeing people move from saying every second word to not having an in a whole 10-minute speech. And that
wow,
for me, I usually just say this could only be God. But there's also method. And if you practice and implement that M must go. It
yeah,
must go.
yeah. It has to go. Practice it and let it go because it disturbs the person who's listening, and
Yes.
it takes time. It
And it steals
increases
from
the.
your real message. It sounds like you are not sure.
Yes, yes. That's what was happening with what I was listening to, and I was like, mm-mm. Internet is there's a lot of things that are going on there. So when you
Yes.
go onto somebody's page, you want them to get straight to the point. When they're
Yes,
still
true.
going here and there, you want to go somewhere else and listen to
Yeah.
somebody else.
Too
So
much
all the
competition in the digital space.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. All those that are saying the public speaking coach is right here with me. After this, go and check her out. She has given us all the places where we can find prove our speaking. Palesa, it was really, really awesome to have you tonight. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank
It's
you
been a
for having
pleasure.
me. I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak to your people. And I've told them where they can find me, but I think I want to leave them with the words of saying, say yes to speaking opportunities, because that is also where you grow. You grow through practice, and it starts by saying yes to the opportunities that people offer you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Say yes. I agree with Palace. I say yes. The 7 day speaking challenge is transforming lives. So get yours transformed as well. Start off with the free one and just test
Yeah.
and see the value that is in there. You will never regret. You will never regret. Thank you so very much, Coach Palesa Dibakwane. Thank you for making the time to join us. Keep reigning, keep shining, keep thriving, keep transforming lives, and may the Lord expand this business, beyond your imagination. I really, really appreciate your being here with us tonight. I've learned so much in this interview, and I believe that a lot of people have also learned a lot in this interview. May the Lord richly bless you.
Amen. Thank you. Stay blessed as well.
Stay blessed. Good night. I have to stand up, Valesa, I have to stand up, that issue.